and their children. From the very beginning, the media was there. They actually were at the Brave Heart March waiting for about 4 hours to be able to speak with us, to speak with the family. And they were very patient, which was great, because as we learned very early on with television, you never really know what time they're going to do whatever they said they were going to do it. You just sort of have to be very easygoing, which is also something that I had to learn to do. But they waited around until about 8 o'clock to speak with the family that night. So they were very patient and they were very involved from the beginning. This is demo day. I just included some of these photographs as well, so y'all can actually see what was going on during the week. This is us starting to frame, getting the roof on, starting to put the siding up inside, and all of this happened obviously during those few days. This is our media tent, and I'm going to talk about media for a while. This team was headed up by Meg Alberson, and I obviously worked with her for quite a bit. She and I, this was the main, everything was in focus, but was a huge focus, but this was huge. She put together our website. She also managed our Facebook and Twitter account. She, as well as myself, brought in 3 different photography firms, one who was also a videographer. She sort of herded the media together under our media tent site. We also assisted our subs and vendors with exposure. From our perspective, a lot of our subs are 2-man shops. They don't have, and in fact, the ones that are even larger than that, they don't have a me. They don't have a marketing or PR person. And we knew that our job, if they were going to give us their time and their hours and their manpower and their materials for free, then the least we could do is give them as much exposure as we possibly could as well. And then we worked with the media, the television stations, print, as well as radio. This is our website, which I'm going to click into to see it. And this actually launched during the press conference. So they were able to immediately put information in all of the publications showing that this was our website. This was so key for us because we had more people who visited this site and our Facebook page during the build than any other source of information. This was how do you donate, how do you sponsor, how do you volunteer, how do you buy tickets to events throughout the week, how do you donate foods. We drove everyone to this website, and you volunteered through the website as well. So obviously, our company colors are brown and green. So I incorporated brown and green into the website, and then obviously as much as I possibly could about our company as well. This shows you, we actually measured the analytics to the site following the build, and this shows you the spike in individuals who view the site the week before, the week during the build, and then obviously as it declined, then it goes back up. Our premiere was January 16th, so it goes back up January 16th, and then it sort of evens itself out again. But just to show you how the website was such a source of information, and just so you know, the website was completely donated as well. We had to find a designer within Savannah who put together everything for us, and they made it where we were hedging on the back end to update everything as well, which was huge because during that week we had so much information that we had to constantly be putting information in for people to see that week. Let's do this real fast. Okay. 50% of our viewers were from referring sites. We found that a lot of them were obviously coming from Facebook, and then in my research I saw that a lot of them were general from Google, but a lot of them were from referring media sites. In fact, WTSC had more people refer to our site than any other media outlet in Savannah. One thing that I thought was interesting was the fact that we had visits from all over the world. Italy's not very random, but Slovenia, I just couldn't believe that people all over the world were looking at our site. I just thought that was very intriguing. But overall, we had 63,000 site views. The majority of people were looking at the pages about the family and how to get involved. And then I actually put in how many times those different sites were viewed as well. I'm going to get into extravaganza a little later, but just so y'all know, that was the event that we had during that week to raise money to pay off the family's mortgage. That we had 500 people attend, so that was obviously a pretty popular then, since this conference is about social media, I wanted to highlight our Facebook page. This was interesting because we had just as many people who looked at our Facebook page as they did our website, if not more. And as I was mentioning Matt West earlier, who's our volunteer coordinator, we had a lot of unique posts, I guess you could say, during the volunteer times. We cut off volunteers November 7th. Our meal started November the 12th. And November 7th at midnight, if you had not signed up yet, I mean, all of those slots were filled at that point, but if you had not signed up, volunteer selections were over at that point. He completely randomly selected who was volunteers and who was not. He was able to read through the comments, but he didn't just pick individuals that he knew or his neighbor or his best friend or anything like that. We wanted everyone to participate. And when that was announced to the media, we got a lot of negative posts on Facebook. Well, we knew the worst thing that we could do was to delete all of those posts because they weren't so negative that it was something that was, it was going to offend anyone, but it looked negative to us and to the entire project. So we would actually post so much great positive information about the site, and pictures and this and that we could get it to the very bottom. So then once other people started making comments on those, we pretty much got rid of it without deleting it, because we knew that if the person who posted it came back and saw that we had deleted their post, then we were just creating a monster. So that was something that we did from the very beginning. And then throughout that week, we didn't really get a lot of negative posts at all. Everything was really positive, and we were able to update photographs throughout the week. And then we were also able to post information of different television specials and things like that we were a part of as well. And our Facebook page is very, very much the same as our website. We had about 7,200 likes. It was generally not the same amount of views as our website was. Same thing with the referrers. And I also added the countries in there because, once again, I was very intrigued. People in Venezuela were looking at our Facebook page about Extreme Makeover, but that really just does show the huge following of the show. And then I also found that it was very interesting that 84% of people who were reviewing our Facebook page were females as well. So, Meg and I started from the very beginning about how we were going to make the most of this build. We actually spoke with some other builders who had participated in Extreme Makeover before and asked them how they handled the media. We asked the show's contacts, not just the media and the marketing people, but the project managers that come with the show. They have two key people who help the build team out. We were like, what have you seen that's worked and what hasn't worked? And they have honestly said that it is up to the builders team to get it with as much exposure as they can. And they've been in cities before. One that they used, which I found to be very shocking, was a builder in Dallas. There was hardly any exposure because the builder didn't seek it out. He didn't speak with the press. He didn't send out press releases. He didn't have individuals that he invited to come to the press conference. He didn't make the most of this opportunity. Now, at the end of the day, we didn't do this for exposure. We obviously did it because we wanted to help a family and be a part of something that was so much bigger than our community. But why not make the most of it while you're doing that? So I knew that it was my job, personally, and my team's job to get this concept out there. So before the build, we immediately started meeting with contacts and inviting them to be a part of everything. We met with the editor of the Savannah Morning News. We met with a lot of the reporters in Savannah. We would personally call and invite them to the press conference, to the pep rally. We didn't just assume that they were all going to show up.